Hey guys, Mike here, and this week is going to start our Blood and Plunder series. And I thought, what better way to kick it off as to kind of show you what you get when you're going to dive into the game. The game right now has four different factions. You've got the English and the French, the Spanish, and kind of like the pirate factions. I'm going to be taking the part of the English faction, so I'm going to kind of show you what you get when you get in the box, and a couple pictures, and a picture of the boat here, all unpainted, and how it looks, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like as you were to get into the game. The Blood and Plunder game is bought in pieces, so and it's like building armies. So when you go there, you can just buy troops that you want, individual elements that you're looking for. You don't have to buy a whole army, and you can kind of build what you want, because every army has, and every unit has its own points value. So it's very similar to like Warhammer or any 40K or Age of Sigmar or any type of a points building miniatures game. It's all included in the book. So really what you start off with is the rule book here, and it's a really nice rule book. I mean, it's a hardback book, and it's got some great pictures in it. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but it's really a good rule book, and it's got I think 10 scenarios in it. It's got all the point values for all of the different armies, and even it's got a section on leaders, which is really kind of cool. So each of the different factions could really pick up a different leader, and they've actually got historical leaders and some flavor text to really go through, how that leader was historically important and what that leader did for their nation. And I think that's really cool. So so I'm going to kind of go down the table here. We're going to kind of show you what you get and what we've got, and where we're going to be taking this series through the next couple weeks before we actually hit the table and actually play our scenario. So, as you can see, I said, here's the Blood and Plunder rulebook, and I was really impressed with some of the graphics, because if you can see, all of the graphics in the book are actually of miniatures. So they actually do miniature graphics for all of the different things that they show in the game, and they look great. I think it's really cool to see the artwork and the miniatures that are painted there. I think that's really cool. So I really like that. But what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing the English. So in the rule book, the actual rule book has all of the English stats. It's got the armies, the units, all the rules for the English army, which is great. It's got all of them in there. So here's the rule book, and we're going to come back to the rule book here in a minute when we look to see what we actually get for units. So when you buy your units, they come in a nice box like this, and you can actually see there, if it focuses there, it's got all the different guys that you can get. Let me see if I can get that in focus a bit better. So you can see there, you can see all of the different units that the guys that come in the box. And in this box, you have 25 different units and different elements in there. When you open it, you can see they're all metal. So you've got the metal units in here. Each box comes with about 15, maybe 10 in each. And I think the miniatures are really a nice quality. I'm going to show you a couple of them, but they're really nicely detailed. They're exceptionally well detailed. And I can bring these up. So as you can see, these minis look great. They're really highly detailed. They've got a lot of intricate work in them. And I think that it's going to be really nice to have these guys on the on the boats and on the miniatures and on the table. I think it's going to look even really nice when we play it. Each faction also comes with its own leader. Here he is. Here's the English leader. Again, really nice sculpts. I think they're really going to be fun to paint. I think you can really get some of that detail that's going to come out when we paint these miniatures. All right, the other thing that comes in the box is you get this card, and this card talks about all the different types of English units that you can have. So whenever you're taking the individual models, you're going to build units, and this card kind of tells me about the units, and it tells me their strengths and weaknesses and how you play them. And in fact, that's a nice part about the rule book here, is the rule book's got pictures and all the stats. You can see the nice pictures of that. There's the English militia, and the freebooters, and then the forlorn hope, and finally the sea dogs. Again, great pictures, which is really nice when you're trying to get a good nice reference for your miniatures when you're painting them. So it's great to have those pictures. And then the last thing that you can get is this deck of cards. The deck of cards, you could really use any deck of cards, but this is nice. While it's just a normal, it's got the normal kings, the hearts, diamonds, and spades, and everything. It's all normal cards. But the nice part about these is each card in here actually shows how many actions the units get to take right here on the card. So I don't have to use a table to keep referencing back to. I can know if I play clubs, that if I've got my inexperienced level, I'm going to get 2 actions, 3 actions. I can see it right there. The other nice thing about these cards is you don't have to memorize the suits. Now, as you can see in the bottom corner, you can see the little pip down there with 1. And then on the spade, you can see the pip's got the spade has 4 pips on it, and that tells us who goes first. And we're going to be getting into that when we start to break down the rules and we start playing it. But it's really nice to use this deck of cards. Now, it's not necessary. You don't have to have the deck of cards. You could use any deck of cards if you wanted. But I think this one's really nice. It's a nice add-on, and it's a nice feature to have whenever you're playing because it's one less table we're going to have to reference as we're going through the game. Because really, you have a good number of tables. I mean, if you look in the back of the book here, the final cover here is really all tables. And that's one of the things that we're going to get into. And it's really neat about how many interesting things you can do with this game. It's got rules already written for so many great things, such as when you do wind speeds and the direction of the wind, how fast your ship can go. It's also got interesting stats for if you want to grapple one ship to another ship, how you do that, how they pull together, what happens to the 2 ships as they drift. So all of that is laid out here in this nice rule set here, and you've got tables for everything. It's really nice right here in the back of the book. The other thing the back of the book has that's nice is it's got all of our templates. Whenever you turn your ship, you need to have the ship turning gauge, and you can make nice photocopies on some cardstock, and then you can print those out, and then you'll have those templates for easy use in the game. So that's nice that they're included here in the rule book, so you don't have to worry about if you don't want to bring a bunch of stuff, you've always got it. You've always got it right here. So that's really nice. Again, I'm really impressed with the quality of the components of this game. I think that I really can't wait to get this to the table. But I guess there's one more thing that everyone would probably like to see, and that's the ship. So with the ships, the game actually has got 3 different size ships that you can play with. And I think that we're talking to Rob. What we're going to do is we're going to be using the frigates. I was looking to see if I could find all of the... Yeah. You've got the sloop, the brigantine, the light frigate, and the longboat. And again, it has to do with the size, number of sails. The longboat is interesting because when you take your ships and you want to come ashore, you have 2 ways to really to get ashore. You can either run your ship aground, which is going to have its own consequences, or you can use a longboat and actually row, from your ship, which is anchored out there, back into the dry land or to a dock. So it's got rules for all that, and it's got all of the stats right here. Here's all your stats for all of your different ships that you could use in the game. I don't know if I can get that in close enough, but again, there's all your stats for your ships, which is really nice. So the ships come in 2 pieces. Here is the hull of the ship, And this is our frigate. It's got a 3-section hull, so you can tell that it's the frigate, the light frigate. The sloop only has 2 sections, and I think one of the other ones may only, or the sloop may only have 1 section, and then the brigadine's got 2 sections. But they're really nice, big plastic boats. It's going to be great to get this in and get all of our stacked miniatures across here. You've got holes along the side for cannons to go through and different types of guns, which is all customizable. However, there's point values for all of that. So all of that, from a brush, all of that is here in the book to how to really deck out your ship however you want. And then you get, which looks complicated, but Rob tells me it's not, and I haven't done it yet, but this is the rigging. This rigging set is used to actually put up all of your masts. And again, you buy the rigging set based on the boat that you're getting. So you can see here, this is for the frigate. So it's got enough masts and everything to set in here. So you've got your string and all of your pieces here. And on the website, there's a very detailed videos on how to put this up. And actually, I've looked through it once. Rob's looked through it. It doesn't look that tough to put these up. So I'm really looking forward to getting this up. And again, you can see a couple pictures here, like of what that looks like with the masts up, and you can see even the rigging there. It does not come with sails, but you can use paper, cloth, anything like that to set up to be able to put the sails on, which is no problem. I think we're gonna get some sails made, and then we're gonna get some flags made. And that was one of the other nice things that we talked about. If we wanted to try a different battle, say we wanted to try using the same boat, but instead of it being an English boat, maybe we wanted to see what happened when we played the Spanish versus the French. Well, we could just take the same frigate here. It's going to be painted the same, and just change the flag that we put on the top there. With a different flag, now all of a sudden you've got a French frigate as opposed to a English frigate, and therefore you could keep playing. So you don't... it would be nice, and it's going to be great to have lots of different ships. But again, they are a little bit big. So again, I think if you got one of each model, I think you would be able to use them interchangeably between nations. That's one of the things that we're definitely looking at. But one of the challenges that I really thought about when we started looking at this was how I was going to paint this. So I have some ideas. So I've got an order coming in from Miniature Market. It should be here on Thursday to kind of show you guys how I'm going to go about painting such a big model. I definitely don't want to use paints and brushes for that, at least to start off with. It's just too big. But I definitely want to get, when we get into the back here, really want to pull out that detail, I think, when we start painting these ships. So I think it's going to be really nice. I think this is going to turn out great. And, and even when you're not playing it, this is going to be a great thing to just have up there, put the army in there, and I think it's going to look great. So that's how you get in to Blood and Plunder. Like I said, all of this stuff is now up, I think is now currently being sold at Miniature Market. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to start getting these guys ready to go. I'm going to start pulling out a number of these unit sets here, figuring out how I'm going to paint them and get them primed. They do have a little bit of trimming I can see on some of them that need to be done, which is fairly common for your metal models. I'm not really worried about that, but I'm going to get these trimmed up, get these guys primed, and get these guys on the table, and get everybody painted up. It comes with, again, like I said, it comes with 25. I'm not sure if we will play with all 25. It definitely gives you the recommendation on point levels, and I think 25 units would actually be a little bit more points level than we may play with. But who knows what Rob's got in mind? I can't wait. I hope you guys are interested in this. I think it's going to be a really cool series, and I think from what I've talked to Rob, the map's going to be pretty cool. So that's Blood and Plunder. You guys will be seeing this here for the next couple weeks up on the site. As I paint it, I'll be putting up videos. I think I'm going to start with the actual troops. I'll probably start painting with those here this week, so you'll start to see those videos come up shortly. So look forward to talking to you guys soon, and I'll catch you guys later.